Coming up, we get some advice from experts about how to keep trees healthy after severe storms cause damage to them. And a change in Kentucky laws has attorneys discussing the future of record expungement for their clients.
Plus, we are watching out for showers and thunderstorms to return for the rest of this week. Your first alert forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
The severe winds have received lately have done a number on trees in our area. Tree removal companies and arborists are often called to help homeowners. WYMT's Phil Pendleton traveled to Boyle County to talk with folks there about the work to cut and remove trees, along with some advice to keep trees healthy and possibly prevent further damage.
Parts of Danville were hit especially hard by the latest round of severe weather, and that means that tree service companies have been extremely busy. And you may be wondering if there's anything that you can do to prevent major tree damage from happening in your property. They say you can inspect your trees, and the best thing to do is to have an arborist come out and take a look.
Like here, we had 3 gigantic trees.
The trees at this Boyle County home are about 90 feet tall, and some of them were no match for the wind on Sunday. Jason McKinley of Arborstone says older and larger trees are often impacted by the kind of weather that we've experienced lately. He encourages people to inspect trees on their property.
I mean, it's always good to look up. A lot of people kind of come out in their yard and they look around, but you never look up. So when you look up and if you see any major dead wood, or anything broken or cracked, it's something to be aware of.
A horticulturalist with the University of Kentucky Extension Service says if you see mushroom-like conchs, your tree may be in trouble.
What that tells us is that there is a fungus inside of that tree, and it has eaten away the inside, that heartwood, which is your stability part of the tree.
Tree service companies have been made very, very busy. They say that even since before COVID, it's been that way. They say the best advice if you want to have someone come down and cut a tree, you need to be patient because it may take a while. In Boyle County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
All right, thank you, Phil. We are also told by extension agents that if you prune your own trees, don't cover up the wound left behind because the tree will naturally cover that up over time. A recently approved amendment to House Bill 329 has attorneys discussing the potential future for people with a criminal record. Pikeville attorney Tanner Hesterberg says one word added to the bill by the General Assembly means more expungement opportunities for people charged with Class D felonies, opening the door for multiple expungements per person. The idea is to help them pave a path back into the workforce, housing market, or just integrate back into life, leaving their history behind.
We have a lot of people here in Eastern Kentucky who are having their opportunities severely limited because they have felonies on their record. A lot of them are eligible to wipe those felonies off their record through expungement, and they don't even know it.
We will have more about the change and what it means to someone who is working to move forward coming up at 6. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture announced July as Kentucky Alpaca Fleece and Fiber Month. Lavender Springs Alpaca in Johnson County is one of more than 200 farms raising alpacas in the Commonwealth alone and welcoming folks out to learn more about their animals. Owner Ashley Ossaway says not only does this interest spark local agriculture tourism, but it educates folks on just how useful these animals are.
They want to see the animals because they're cute, but also because they can't really fathom what their use is. And there's just a diverse use as a livestock animal here in the U.S. and their numbers are growing.
Ossaway adds that her 12 alpacas produce around 80 pounds of fleece and fiber per year, which creates yarn, socks, shawls, scarves, and much more. We will have more from Lavender Springs Alpaca tonight at 6.
We are still watching out for a few showers and storms across the mountains into this afternoon. For most of us, we are dry and warm, but a few showers are possible as we go into this evening. As you can see on Pinpoint Doppler, most of us are dry, but a few heavier showers cannot be ruled out. Here's one in Wise County, Virginia, just to the north and west of Norton, over top of Dunbar right now. Nothing severe, but some heavier showers are going to be possible as we go into this evening. A few light sprinkles near Pineville and Bell County. Also watching out for this shower over southern Rockcastle, also northeastern Pulaski County. Again, nothing severe, but a few heavier showers cannot be ruled out as we go into this evening. Those temperatures, they are toasty, upper 80s for most of us, 86 in Jackson, 83 for London, up to 88 for Moorhead, and 89 over in Irvin at this hour. So definitely the day to have the AC running as we go through the rest of this afternoon. But like I said, those rain chances, they are going to increase for the rest of this week, and some of the rain could be a little bit heavy in some places. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Cameron. A fireworks mishap injures a handful of people in one small town in Michigan when a firework landed in a crowd of people. Lauren Edwards explains.
There was an explosion of light and sparks and people screaming.
Melissa Knuckles will never forget what happened Monday night during the fireworks show at Allegan's July 3rd Jubilee. Video given to Fox 17 by viewers shows the mishap.
My husband was in a chair here and he grabbed my daughter, threw her to the ground and went over top of her.
And her 8-year-old son was nowhere in sight.
When my son ran away to get to safety and my husband told me, he said, grab him. And I looked and I couldn't find him. It was immediate panic.
She screamed his name 3 times. He came running right back.
As soon as it was all settled, people immediately started asking, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And people that were burned, people were getting ice out of their coolers, putting ice on burns.
Melissa says immediately first responders were on scene and people started leaving.
And as we were walking across the bridge, there are fireworks going off on the other pontoons closer to those people. And our minds and our hearts are thinking, why are you still shooting fireworks off from pontoons? People were just hurt.
The city of Allegan released a statement Tuesday which stated that they contracted with Wolverine Fireworks Display, a company they've used for years. It went on to state in part, quote, during the fireworks display, a firework cake from the proximate show unintentionally landed in a crowd located to the east of one of the pontoon boats. This resulted in a handful of minor injuries, all but one of which was treated at the site of the incident. One individual was transported to Helen DeVos Children's Hospital for further evaluation. Our thoughts are with all those who were affected by this unintentional incident. Melissa says by the time they got to the other side of the Iron Bridge, the fireworks show was over. But she believes the city should have added more than just thoughts to their statement.
The fact that no apology was made is very hurtful because I know there were kids out here that had autism.
It was a morning of frustration and confusion at the Buffalo airport. The power outage in the area put many travelers on standby as the airport leaders worked to put the lights back on. Just before 4 this morning, the Buffalo airport was left in the dark and halted many post-holiday travel plans. Long lines formed as travelers waited to check in and check their luggage.
I got to go buy a hotel room, get a rental to get from here to the hotel room, and I got to deal with cranky babies all day, and not been a fun time.
Airport officials say they are working to make sure it does not happen again. In Michigan, a group of teenagers out for a whitewater rafting trip spot an eagle's nest. Amy Doyle has the story.
Some of these tourists visited us from as far away as Florida and stopped along a dirt road to quietly and safely peer at the 2 eaglets as the babies are now growing into their majestic wings. The rafters marveled at the timeliness of their appearance.
Very young, they don't even have the white spot, which means they're less than 3 years old, and they can't even fly yet. And when we were passing them the first time, I didn't even see them, but my mom was like, look, look, look.
I never seen really an eagle before. They were kind of big, but they're also they were medium.
It was really cool seeing an eagle's nest, especially 4th of July weekend. What better time to see an eagle's nest?
Coming from Florida, you do see a bunch of eagles everywhere. and stuff like that. I mean, if you go down the Everglades, but over here it's really nice that you can just like see. We just saw like on the side of the road, it's perched two big birds.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service guidelines suggest staying a minimum of 330 feet away from an active bald eagle's nest. The Michigan DNR was not immediately available for comment. However, it is a violation of federal law to touch any part of an eagle, even a feather on the ground. Violations would likely result in fines of up to $200,000 and even imprisonment. According to the American Eagle Foundation, eagles lay 1 to 3 eggs per clutch, with 2 eggs being the average. However, there has been some documentation of as many as 4 eggs in some successful clutches. The eagles will likely begin branching as a precursor to flying at about 9 to 10 weeks old and will fly into the land of liberty by about 14 weeks of age. Amy Doyle, WZMQ 19 News, Norway.
And it was a special 4th of July celebration for a community in Wisconsin. Julia Fellow has more from the people who participated in one 4th of July parade in the Milwaukee area.
Grannies are gonna rock this!
A standing ovation as the dancing grannies waved their pom-poms to huge crowds in Waukesha's 4th of July parade.
They love us, and you can't help but smile and know that we're bringing a lot of joy and smiles and laughter.
Kathy Schmaling says it was time for her to turn tragedy into happiness.
Today is the first day that I've actually been back to the parade route to see where the car went through our grannies and, you know, where a couple of people passed. And I haven't been back here, so it was very emotional, but today is a day of building brand new memories. Dancing grannies! Woo! I guess I have to move on, and we're moving on. All of us are moving on with a brand new group of ladies.
Moving on, but never forgetting. The ladies tell me the biggest moment for them in this parade was passing the 5 Points intersection behind me, because right here is where a memorial will be built to honor those lost.
We remember those we lost, but we celebrate life and what we're doing.
And build new friendships. The 610 Stompers came all the way from New Orleans to walk with the grannies. After the ladies accepted an invite to this year's Mardi Gras parade.
We saw this other organization that had the same love of dance that we did, and we thought to ourselves, you know what, we can do something to help.
And they have.
For my first time to come back here, I guess I'm glad it was with them.
You might seem on the surface like we're very different, but we're really the same at heart.
A day to celebrate life and liberty.
Coming up as First at 4 continues, one type of breakfast food is being recalled.
Plus, the summer heat looks to continue as we get into the weekend, but we are tracking some changes by early next week. All those details coming up.